Welcome to Fix It Fast. Today we're going to be building a custom subwoofer box for my Toyota Tacoma. Let's get to work. I use the website subbox.pro to design my subwoofer box. It allows you to enter the external dimensions you want and the internal volume specific to the subwoofer you choose, and that will help you figure out the size of each piece that you need to cut your wood to. It also allows you to enter very specific information to your specific subwoofer that you choose. You can choose to view the detailed measurements for each piece that you're going to be cutting as well. The way I wanted my box designed varied slightly from that website, so here's a detailed drawing of how I actually cut my pieces. I used a table saw to cut all these pieces so that the cuts were perfectly square and more accurate. Using a compass, draw your hole in the center of the board. Next, drill a hole on the outside of the circle large enough that you can fit your jigsaw blade. Carefully cut your hole out using the jigsaw. I used a couple clamps to hold it in place and then just rotated the board as I went. This board is my flush mount panel, so I'll be using a 1/4 inch router bit to give it a finished look. Smooth out any rough edges with some sandpaper. I decided to use Titebond 3 to glue all my pieces together. Glue is quite runny, so be prepared to have a little bit of a mess that you'll have to clean up. Optionally, you can put a guideline at 3/8 inch so that you know where you want to put your brad nails. I'm using 1.5 inch brad nails to attach the sides. I placed each brad nail approximately 1 inch apart. Make sure you're applying glue to all mounting surfaces. After letting the glue dry for 24 hours, I sealed all the seams with silicone caulking. I'm just using my finger to smooth it out and fill in any air gaps. Next, glue on the top plate. I'm laying a heavy bead of the glue here and smoothing it out so that I cover the entire area. MDF board is super absorbent, so I just want to make sure I have plenty of glue laid down. Make sure all your edges are lined up and square. Then you're going to tack it down, clean up any drips you may have. Then go through and place a brad nail every inch or so. To attach the faceplate to the sides, I'm still using 1.5 inch brad nails. Clean up any drips you have on the inside or outside of the box. Next, we'll be gluing on the flush mount panel. I'm just using an old plastic card to smooth out the glue so the entire area is covered. Be careful not to get glue in the very center where the subwoofer will be mounting to the faceplate. I used 1.25 inch brad nails to attach the faceplates. After the glue's all dried, go through and cover all the nail heads with wood filler and then give it a light sanding. Now I'm going to apply silicone to the face. I wasn't sure how to do that. I was just going to glob it on my finger, but I found this hose and it actually fits over the top of this silicone here. So I'm just going to run it along the inside here and should work out pretty well. We'll see. Ah, that was a good thought. It wasn't on enough. Shoot. Here we go. We're globbing her in. Using the tubing would have worked if I would have just put a piece of tape around both to help hold it all together. To mount the speaker, I've marked where the quarters are. Should have done this before I glued everything up. Before you even cut your circle, you can just put the middle point of everything, and that'll help you line up your speaker holes. Line that up there. If you're doing a flush mount panel like I'm doing, make sure you cut your hole at least 1/8 of an inch larger than the outside diameter of your subwoofer. That'll give it plenty of clearance to fit in the hole. Get her pretty much lined up with these marks here as best you can. There. And then I'm going to go through and mark where every one of these holes needs to be. I'm going to use a center punch. So first I'm going to drill pilot hole. So I've marked this to 10 mil because that's the depth of this adapter, this screw threaded nut that I'm going to use. Once your pilot holes are drilled, step up your bit size so that the holes are large enough to fit the threaded nut. So what I've done here is I wanted to mark where the center of the speaker magnet will be. I didn't want to get too close with my terminal. I didn't want to go right in the middle. So I just went 2 inches up and then 2 inches in from the bottom. And then that'll give me some good clearance here from the magnet. So basically I'll run my wires down, over, and then I'll have a little space here in the back so that my wires won't have to go at a harsh angle. Just gonna go backwards a little bit just to get the whole, just to get some marks here to guide it. All right, and then I'll go forward. I'm marking the center of where I'll want my terminal mounted. Next, drill pilot holes for your screws. Be very careful when drilling these because there's not a lot of clearance. I'm just gonna give this everything a light sanding with the orbital sander and then be ready for paint. Before sanding, I decided to use a 1/4 inch round over bit to give all my outside edges a finished look. I'm using Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler and sandable primer to seal the MDF board after sanding, and then I'll finish that with the Raptor liner. Got the box all primed and ready for paint. Here's the final look of the sub box before I put the speaker in. I got these terminals here screwed down, and then I have the wire running down here with a little wire anchor here that I screwed down, then zip tied. And then I put some foam here to help keep the wire from rattling around. I also put some test tape on it to help reduce any noise. So the way I have it, when the speaker goes to tuck in, it's just going to kind of wrap in on itself here towards the terminal here, and then it's going to not rattle. To mount the speaker, I use these threaded nuts that go right into the wood. That way, if I have to pull the speaker in and out a bunch of times, it's not gonna ruin the wood. To secure the speaker in the truck, I'm gonna be using 2 L brackets on either side of the speaker. I also put foam on both of these brackets to help deaden any vibration noise. This is how the woofer looks all mounted up on the box. I used M4 bolts to mount the subwoofer, and they were 20 millimeters long. In addition to the speaker being recessed, I also added the speaker cover to further protect the speaker. So here's the subwoofer under my fridge platform. So then I'm just gonna push this in, and then that wire will tuck right into there, and then I have it running behind the platform over to the passenger side, and then it runs across to the floor and then over to the amp. This is the look of the subwoofer with the seat and everything in. You can see the clearance here doesn't really take up much room. It's pretty well flush with the seat. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button and follow for future content. We'll see you on the next one.